Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back. Sorry, I just have some stuff out here on the bench, but we're burning some stuff. We got the old Paul's Leader number 2. And I decided to put the amber root beer globe in it today, just for fun, for atmosphere. So yeah, that's pretty nice, right? I think so. I like this one. It's a beautiful old lantern, and I don't burn it nearly enough. But anyway, it's out here today, and as you could see in the old thumbnail, we're going to talk about broadcasting and home receivers of the portable nature. Yeah. That's right. So, besides antique lanterns, I also collected antique radios. And I've already mentioned this a little bit. I would say besides lanterns and stuff like that, radios really kind of took hold with me early on. I started buying antique radios whenever I could. I still have the very first one that I bought. Yeah, it's a 1935-36 Emerson that I still need to get a dial cover for. But it plays, it works. And I'll talk about that radio in another video and talk about how I got it and everything. It's kind of a fun story. At least I think so. It's a little early morning pipe, Dunhill blend. Yeah, it's nice stuff. Anyway, had a nice breakfast, and I thought I'd come out here and spend some time with you guys. So, what are we going to share today? Well, I want to talk about portable radios. Now, this is something a lot of the antique radio collectibles world is kind of afraid of. And a lot of people that collect antique radios, tube radios, pre-war or early post, they don't buy these. And I understand why. I do. There's not a lot of availability for battery packs, so you can actually use them on campouts or picnics or whatever. Or, everyone has one of these now. This is your portable radio. You can get everything on it. So why would you need something that's clunky and heavy? But, if you're like me, you don't want to use your phone all the time, and you create a vintage style type of picnic or a camping trip, or you're taking the old antique car out for a drive, you're going to want something that's kind of authentic to the period. So you kind of have that if you have the clothes and the car and everything else. And what is this? What is this going to be doing on your table or at your picnic or in your campsite, right? Yeah, and most of these things and most reputable good camping spots, you don't get reception anyways, so that's kind of a waste of time. It's good to take pictures and then post them later, but I'm not running down modern technology. No, not at all. Anyway. For authenticity purposes, I am a glutton for punishment. Yes, I am. But anyway, what I'm about to share is a 1941 Zenith companion radio. Now, Zenith, wonderful company. They made beautiful radios. A lot of them are highly collectible. But these kind of go by unnoticed. Now, it looks like a suitcase. It's in a beautiful tweed cabinet. Tweed wrapped cabinet. And it's kind of big, kind of heavy. Has a leather handle that's still present. This one is in remarkable shape. But you undo these little latches, and then you fold down that door, and then you have a radio. Check that out. It's a radio, and this thing is actually really clean. You can see this thing is immaculate. But, did it work? Yes, it does work. It operates. I've had it serviced. But anyway, show you the business end. It's complete with the wave magnet antenna that you can attach to anything. Sadly, the suction cups are pretty brittle and dried out. They will not work. And some people have replaced them with modern ones, and they work. But you were capable of attaching that wave magnet because it looks like a magnet, but it is called the wave magnet. Here, I'll pull it out and show you. Yeah. But this little magnet-looking thing is an antenna. See? It's pretty cool. So you would use these little dried out, well, not at the time, but these little suction cups, you could put them up in the window of either a train or on a boat or ship or your car, and you could receive stations and listen to the radio at your leisure while you were traveling. Yeah. Because these things do like to try and, it takes a lot of antenna to drag them in. But this thing is in remarkable condition. It's 100% original. Now I've had to use a little bit of electrical tape on the line, the plug that goes into the battery pack. Now the battery pack is cool because it's a reproduction. Someone printed these little cardboard boxes out, and then they put a tray in there for 10 9 volts and 6 D cells for the A and B voltage for the battery. And it works. I've used this radio many times, but I'm going to have to replace the cord, the wires on this plug eventually. It's not really happy anymore. But anyway, there's a little switch down here. You can switch on the chassis. Let me see if I can get up here. Hold on a second. It's a little cumbersome. It's bulky. But anyways, there's a little switch right here. And you could switch it to different spots depending on what means of transportation you were on, whether a train or a ship or a car or whatever, or not moving at all. So, but you were able to take these places and enjoy the ball game or the serials that you enjoy, your radio shows, and it was pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. But anyway. Neighbors. Anyways, it's always something, friends, always something. Anyways, so this is 1941. It's a model. What was the model number here? Model 6G501N. That's right. And they offered this radio in a variety of cabinets. You could get this beautiful, handsome tweed suitcase looking cabinet. You could get it also in a steel blue and yellow type of cabinet, which is very rare. They also had another tweed version of this that was a slightly different color and pattern, which I've seen. It's gorgeous. It's a little more orange and orange brown, but it's beautiful. They also made them in leatherette, so the whole thing is kind of brown and had a two-tone type of scheme. They also made it with a faux wood grain face. They made a lot of different variations of this particular radio, and of course with the different cabinet styles, they had different model numbers. But for those Zenith guys out there, I know you might be lurking, you do know that this little companion radio eventually became known as the Transoceanic. The first Transoceanic was 1942. First versions came in either a black or a dark brown alligator, faux alligator cabinet, and it was the first. It had AM and shortwave. It was the first shortwave portable radio that Zenith introduced that, and that became the Transoceanic. And they're very collectible. Yes, I want one because they had some fun designs on the speaker grill. Speaker grill either had a sailboat or a bomber, and especially before production ceased for the war, they had a bomber because of the war, coming around, and Pearl Harbor had been bombed and everything. So everyone was getting into the spirit for supporting World War II. But anyway, cool stuff. I will slip in a few photos and make a little slideshow here of some different radios, portable, early to late. So yeah. But anyways, next up, what was RCA doing the same year? They had, Zenith offered different sizes of portable radios. They did, but RCA had probably the smallest. That's right. This is a portable radio. See? RCA Victor. Yeah. Let's see here. And then what's really special about this one is, let's see. There it is. Flips up. Spring loaded. Beautiful chrome plated grill. Look at that. It's like a train car. It's like a Pullman, like a streamlined Pullman. Is that beautiful? Oh, gorgeous. And the really nice thing about this, one of the reasons why I bought it, I can't get this working. Sadly, the output transformer is kind of on the blink. And finding one that's small enough for this is really hard. Until one comes around, this thing will still be cold. It won't play. But the reason why I bought this is because it has my initials. RCS. That's right, RCS. That's my full initials. And I'm not going to say what they are. Anyways, you'll just have to guess. But this is a really cool piece. RCA model BP-10. Boston Peter 10. Yes, that's the model number. So it's pretty cool. And a lot of guys, a lot of people out there think that how could you get a radio so small with the vacuum tubes? Well, I'll tell you. Come on. Come on. Come on. This thing's being difficult, isn't it? Maybe I need to... There. Well, isn't that fine? Okay. There it is. There's the data plate. Model BP-10. Yeah. And here's the inside. Never been restored, never been touched. All original electrolytics, filter capacitors, all that jazz. But look at the tubes. They're peanut style. Those didn't exist prior to the war. You crazy, Rob? This is probably late 40s. Could even be 50s. No, it's not. No, it's not. I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this came out in 41. Late 40. Yeah, this is a model. Came out in 41. And yeah, they were all introduced in mid to late 1940 because, well, that's when models were introduced. It was mid to late prior year. So yeah, but that's it. This little brick, it's a radio. I would love to get it working so I could take it on picnics and walk around with it playing period music, and news broadcasts would be kind of fun. But anyways, model BP-10. I bought it mainly because of my initials. I knew that I wouldn't probably ever get this working. I have some friends that can repair antique radios, and they tried, and they says, well, the output transformer is cooked. It's not something that can be easily found because it has to be small enough to fit into this cabinet. So very specific. Now, if it was a standard table size radio, you can get output transformers from other radios, and they would work fine, more or less. They could be compatible because the space is not as limited as it is for this. But anyway, I digress. But it's fun to have this, regardless. It's just neat. Has my name on it, right? But it's kind of cool because other companies were offering small radios like this. At the same time, Philco came out with a radio that looked like a camera case and had a faux paper wrapping on it that looked like leather, and it looked handsome, but they used a lot of plastic on it. And the early plastic that they used contained soybean oils and stuff like that. So it probably was just fine at the time, but soybean plastics, they don't age very well, and they start to fume. They start to fume, and they smell terrible. We're talking bathroom terrible. I mean really nasty, just gross. And so a lot of people steer clear of those because of that reason. And they also warp. A lot of the early plastics that were made of organic materials, they will warp, pertaining to heat. And tennite. Tennite is another pre-war plastic that was susceptible to heat and warpage. And it's interesting because around 1937, a lot of escutcheons and different knobs and stuff were being made of tennite because it was a new, modern material. And it was exciting because you could marbleize it, make it look like marble, but it was not marble. It was cost effective, and they made knobs and escutcheons for radios out of tennite. And it looked great, but 80, 90 years later, it just warps and gets weird because of heat and exposure to sunlight or whatever environment they're in. So it's not very stable or very, it's short shelf life if it's in the wrong environment. So yeah, and I would love to see somebody start reproducing the tennite escutcheons and knobs and stuff like that because, well, they could maybe sell some. I know restoration guys could definitely benefit from that, but the demographic of those guys is much lower than it would be profitable, I'm sure, and that's why it hasn't happened yet. But there's, you know, 10-ite in old cars, dash panels, and all that stuff from the Chrysler, you know, Corporation made a lot of 10-ite dash pieces right prior to the war and after the war. And a lot of that stuff gets cracked and damaged, and it can't be replaced unless you seek pieces online that are intact and serviceable. But anyways, I digress. Old plastic, 80-year-old plastic. That's a fun thing, right? It's interesting. All the different layers of the hobby. Mm-hmm. But that's mostly the reason why I stuck with the wood cabinet stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's fun. I like the portables. Since I have this Zenith with the battery pack, I can put fresh batteries in it and take it to campouts and picnics or along in the car, whatever I like. And have my MP3 player hooked up to it and enjoy authentic music. Yeah, actually, I made a video just with that radio alone. So if you want to see it work, go way back. Scroll on back, go to the earliest videos I have, and you will see me playing this radio on my front yard, in my front lawn, on a blanket, with a VJ Day edition of the Herald Examiner from 1945, from August of 45. And I have a broadcast that was broadcast live from Hollywood on VJ Day. And so you will see the radio playing, you'll hear the radio playing with the 1945 VJ Day broadcast of a newscaster interviewing people on the street as things were getting kicked off in celebration of the end of the war. So that is a fun video. I hope you do check it out. Tell you what, I'll make it easy for you. I'll copy the link and put it in the description. So all you have to do is click the link and go right there instead of digging into the archives. So that's how much I like you guys. Absolutely, right? I'm a good guy. I think so. Just being silly. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video about antique portable radios. Stay tuned for the slideshow of some of the earliest portable radios to some of the other ones up to the point that I've shared. So I hope you enjoy that, and I'll intertwine some advertisements and whatnot and some old photos. So it's cool. I think you'll enjoy it. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys next week. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little hint. I want to do a video on something that I don't have anymore, and my friend has it. Now, the reason why I don't have it anymore, because I didn't think it was all that special until years after I gave it to him. Then I discovered how special it is. Quite the wild story, and has something to do with the Great Depression. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Because if I say any more, you're going to know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to divulge any of it. But I have to set it up with my buddy. And this will be a little bit of a field trip out to the Inland Empire, where my friend lives, and we'll do a video on location at his house with this spectacular piece of American history from the Great Depression. And I know a lot of you will dig this. So let me set it up, and I will make a note of it, and I will definitely make a brief video before next Thursday to let you know if it's going to happen or when it will happen. Not if, when it will happen. So I just need to set it up with him, and then make a time and drive out there. We'll do a whole excursion. It's going to be fun. I think so. All right, so stay tuned for that. Keep the subscriptions coming. We're almost to 1,000. We're almost there. We're at 993. Holy cow. I can taste it. Can't you taste it? I can taste it. Yes, absolutely. All right, so keep subscribing. We're almost there to 1,000,000, and then you will get the 1,000 subscriber special video that we've all been kind of waiting for. So with that being said, keep it up, and we'll see you guys next week. All right, bye-bye.
I take, and every breath becomes a sigh. Not a sigh of despair, but a sign that I care for you.
I've found joy. I'm as happy as a baby boy with another brand new choo-choo toy. When I'm with my sweet Lorraine, she's got a pair of eyes that are blue.
In time by a step. And Reese goes back to second base to take Sturm's bid for a hit away from him. And it's the shortstop directly behind second. Moving over nimbly, coming up with it and throwing to Camilli, and Sturm is out. And so the ball game commences. One up and one out. And Red Rolf.
She was then and there attacked by a submarine. Germany admits that it was a German submarine. The submarine deliberately fired a torpedo at the Greer, followed later by another torpedo attack.
J-E-L-L-O. The Jell-O program brought to you by Jell-O and Jell-O Pudding, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. The orchestra opens the program with The Romantic Guy I.
Each week at this time, from the Donnelly Studios in Hollywood, Music Depreciation brings you the orchestra conducted by Frank DeVol, the Les Paul Trio, and noted artists from the world of swing. Tonight's guests were Herb Jeffries and Illinois Jacquette. See you next Sunday on Music Depreciation. Tony LaFrano speaking.
This is the National Broadcasting Company, KFI, Los Angeles.